Questions? Yes?
What if we don't finish the lab in the time we're writing?
Oh, that's fine. You have until the next time we meet to finish the lab. So you have basically a week to finish each lab. And in some cases where the labs don't build, you could even push it a little farther than that. But generally speaking, you're going to need to get this week's lab done before you come to class the next week, or else you're not really going to be able to do the next lab. Good. Other questions? None. We're all just sitting here in a stunned silence. To help us with it, and your first preparation assignment for next week will be to read these first 4 lessons. This is your textbook. This is our course Brain Honey site. Very first thing there is the technical writing textbook. So this is the textbook that we'll be using. You have the table of contents here. You just come over and click on the lesson and go out and read it. And so for next week, you need to read these first 4 lessons, part 1 of the textbook. So that's your out-of-class assignment to be ready for next week. And then we will be going through all of the textbook by the time we're done, looking at different aspects of the writing process, and also editing. How do you edit stuff so that you make it good? So that's our textbook. That's there. It's nice because it's free. And it's also actually a good textbook. Then here, under today's date, you have the lab that you have in front of you. So if you lose it or anything like that, you can just go out and pull it up from off of the iLearn site here. It's in PDF format so that you can't cheat. Since it's typing it up in Microsoft Word, if I gave you a Word copy of it, it would be a little defeating the purpose. Well, I suppose I could go back and look at the history on it and figure out if you tried to send me my own copy. The other thing is that even though you will, at some point or another in your careers, if you go out and teach, in essence find yourself alone on something that you're going to do in terms of teaching. There are lots and lots of resources that are within your grasp these days, which is nice. One of them being the internet. You go out and if you flip over to the front page, I give you an internet site there to kind of get you going on using Microsoft Word. If you've never done an equation in Word or anything like that, it will get you started on that process. Has lots of good information as you go through there. And there are a bunch of other websites that are out there. If you just go Google typing math in Microsoft Word, get you a whole list of different websites that have instructions about it, talk about specific features and all of those kinds of things. So you always have that. The other one that we will be using in here is a discussion board on our iLearn site. So under today's date, there's a discussion board on typesetting mathematics. So if you find a website that's really good, say, hey, wow, this really helped me, do a post on here. And to do that, when you hit typesetting mathematics, I'll just bring up this right here. You just hit new thread if you're not responding to somebody else. And it'll come up. Obviously, it'll have your name, not mine. And you come in and you just type in, hey, found this wonderful website, blah, blah, blah. Really helped me with doing, number 7 or something like that. And then you hit post over here. And I won't post this blank one. And then it will appear for everybody else in the class to go see, or if you're having problems with it, you can go out and take a look on the discussion board and see if anybody else has said anything, or if they haven't, just post a question. Hey, trying to do number 7, can't figure out how to get a squirrely bracket. And then it's your way of communicating back and forth outside of class, since we go a week between seeing each other. So it'll give you a chance to help each other out without if you don't actually get together physically to work on things.
Is this a running discussion board for the whole time we're in this course, or is it?
Well, this one is just set up for typesetting mathematics, and then I'll set up separate ones for each for different labs. Some labs don't really lend themselves to a discussion paper, but frequently we'll have one of those attached to the lab as well for you to share ideas and problems, weekend plans, whatever. So I will occasionally go out and scan these, so you may want to keep it. You may not want to discuss it privately. All right. Questions about the course? All right. Yeah.
How do we submit these to you when we're done?
Mm-hmm. This week, you'll be emailing it to me. So as soon as you get done, or you think you're done, with typing in that back page, it's a Word document, so you'll just attach it to an email, send it to me. I'll go through it, make sure that you did it correctly. If I have any problems with it, I'll just email you back and say, on number 7, you got the spacing wrong. Go back and fix that, please. And then you can go back and fix it and then send me the revised version. And we'll just go back and forth via email on it. Other labs, the labs are very different. You are going to actually be writing learning materials for a particular subject, and as you write those up, there'll be different things that we do with them. Sometimes I'll want to see the actual packet that you've produced. Other times you'll be writing it, but then the next week we're going to be editing it, and so it'll just be a matter of did you get it written or not. So each week will be a little different, but this week you'll be emailing it to me. Question?
Will there normally just be laptops in this room, or are we going somewhere else to use computers?
If you have your own laptop, how many of you have your own laptop that has Microsoft Word on it? Okay. If you have your own laptop, if you'll bring those, that will be most convenient. We do have a few laptops that you can borrow if you don't have your own to use in class, but I don't have enough for everybody, and so you will need to bring yours if you can to work on this. And then any computer on campus has Microsoft Word on it, so you can use any of those. And I'm losing my voice for some reason. It's a very emotional experience.
The lack of computers.
I have a question about the version of Microsoft Word that we need.
The instructions here are, well, what little instructions they give you are from 2007. But if you have 2010, most of the things work the same, and so that's not a big issue. If you go back, if you've got 2003, there will be some differences in how things work. And then if you have 1997, sorry, upgrade. So, I mean, we don't support 1997. 14 years later. All right. Good question, though. So 2007, 2010, either one of those will work fine for us. Other questions?
So did you say we're going to the lab right now to do this, or?
No, unfortunately, we have another department that took over our lab.
Oh.
And they're actually teaching a class in there. So we don't have access during this hour to the lab. No. This first one, since there's going to be everything from some of you that need no help whatsoever, that can just sit down and type that out immediately, to some of you who may have never used the equation editor on Microsoft Word. Those of you who are pretty confident that you're good to go with this or whatever, you're welcome to go ahead and go and just work on it and then email it to me when you're done. Those of you who want a little start on it, I'm not going to do a whole lot because part of the purpose of this lab is to really get you to go out and use online resources and use other resources to figure out how to do things. We want you to have that experience. We want you to get confident with doing that. Obviously, if you go out and you get frustrated or just can't even